In this video, we are going to talk about Manager Kim chapter number 184. In the last chapter, we saw that the king of the underworld has completely thrashed and destroyed the letter sent by Miss Kim to Tom Lee. He goes completely berserk and pounds his attacks on the king. So, we start off this chapter by Santiago Ian's laboratory, where the king has put the entire lab on fire, and he says to Santiago that, "I heard you have a talent for medicine. Maybe because of that, you're making some interesting things like hormone suppression drugs. Did you make it to make your comrades regain their emotions? It's true, if you just stop a certain hormone's release, you can reverse the effects on closer or your comrades. However, this is just a temporary solution, not a permanent one." He grabs Santiago's throat and picks him up in the air, but then Santiago says, "That's not all. It can also suppress that power of yours." Then he says that after he got a call from Jincheol, he immediately checked the reports from the past research. He found a project named God's Realm. In that project, there were experiments related to brain and hormones, and it was just confirmed that drugs which erase emotions exist, but also information about the origins of your powers. Did you really live thinking it's really God's power? That's a curse. And the king, in an anger response, throws Santiago away, making him unconscious. Then the king says, "This is a weapon stronger than any other," and destroys the canister in his hand. Then the scene shifts to the fighting ground where Tom Lee and the king were fighting, and Tom Lee is just attacking the king with punches and kicks and saying crazy things to him, and the king says, "Is he crazy?" And then king goes for a punch. Tom Lee blocks his punch and kicks the king in the nuts and says, "From this moment on, you're not a king, you're a queen." And we see king's face screaming in pain. Then Tom Lee hits a knee to king's face. Right now, king is getting absolutely destroyed by Tom Lee's attacks, and the king says, "It looks rough, but this man's fighting style is flawless. It is a very sophisticated style. I cannot find any opening on him." And one more important thing that the king says, that Tom Lee's fighting movements are very instinctual. We know that Tom Lee fights from an animal instinct that he has. King lying down on the ground while Tom Lee standing up and crying, "Why did you do it? It was everything to me." Then king thinking in his mind, talking to himself, saying that, "I have no other choice. I used too much of it during the fight with that man," meaning Han Soo-seong, of course. The king stands up. Now king is activating his secret power that he has. Tom Lee goes for a punch, but then we see the king has effortlessly blocked Tom Lee's punch, throws Tom Lee in the air like Tom Lee is a small child. I mean, king's power is on another level. He just unlocked into some beast mode that he has. Now it's the king's turn to attack. He starts attacking Tom Lee while he is in the air with kicks and punches and elbows and everything. And he says, "I know you're strong, but everything's down the drain now. You're back to square one. My body is a bit special." Then we see king pounding his punches on Tom Lee's face while Tom Lee is lying down on the ground. Jincheol Park is a bit concerned for Tom Lee's well-being. He asks Yongcheol, "Is he okay?" And Yongcheol says, "Yeah, he's fine. If our director didn't resort to something like that today, he won't be able to sleep tonight." Then shockingly we see Tom Lee's face, and he's not affected at all. All the king's efforts went useless on Tom Lee, and the king says, "It's not working at all." And Tom Lee says, "Keep going, make me suffer more and forget this wound," and kicks the king away with a hard kick. And we see the king spitting blood from his mouth and saying, "God damn it." And the king says, "It's too risky for me to use it more than this." Then we see Albert Kim has reached the location where these guys were fighting, and he hands a canister to Jincheol Park, and king's eyes cannot believe it. He's like, "Wait, it can't be. That's the canister from the Santiago's laboratory." But king cannot believe it because the king had destroyed the entire laboratory, especially the machine that produces the hormone suppressing drugs. The king completely destroyed it. Then we see a scene from past where Albert Kim has reached Santiago's laboratory, and then after assessing the situation, he calls Jincheol that Santiago's machines are completely destroyed. But then Jincheol orders Albert Kim to reassemble those machines so they could make that canister, that drug which could suppress king's powers. And Albert Kim, being the genius he is, he reassembled those machines and recreated that drug which could suppress king's power. And now he's handing over that canister to Jincheol, and Jincheol throws that canister to Tom Lee, and Tom Lee shoves that canister into the king's mouth, down his throat, and says, I did it. It went deep into his throat." And the king cannot believe it. He says, "It doesn't make any sense. He built that machine again amidst the burned up remnants. He managed to do it? No." Then we hear a background voiceover saying that at that moment when he encountered an unexpected move, he didn't know why, but he was reminded of that man in his memories. Then we hear king's voice, "A man who thought I was strong, the man who took one of my eyes, China's biggest figure, Pyong Yeon-cho. For some reason, I got reminded of him. And the next chapter is about the circumstances of that day. So that's it from this chapter. It was a wild chapter. Manager Kim Manhwa is on the peak right now. The fights are getting really interesting. Instead of just listening to a backstory, we are also seeing current fights, and that combination makes Manager Kim Manhwa much more interesting right now. So that's it from this chapter. Make sure to like, give a thumbs up and subscribe and click the bell icon. See you in the next chapter. Thank you.